Today, we have an extra special guest, Connor Steinbrook here, and he's going to be going over why every real estate investor should actually get the real estate license. He's going to come at you from a very unique perspective and something that if you guys are investors or want to be investors, it's definitely something that you want to look into. And then for those of you that actually don't know Connor, Connor is actually one of the top residential real estate investors out of Dallas, Texas. He has a massive YouTube channel with over 40,000 subscribers. He's top 40 out of 85,000 agents here at eXp Realty. And he's a communication and mindset coach for almost a decade. He's an absolute rock star. So super glad that he's here to share his knowledge with us today. So with all that being said, Connor, take it away.
What's going on, everybody? Can y'all hear and see me okay?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Hope everyone's doing okay. Yeah, so let me kind of give you my take on this because I think I have a pretty good personal take on it since I was not licensed for about 7 years of my investing career. And so a lot of this depends, I think, on kind of tribal mentality, how people come into the industry. If they came in through like a friend that was a real estate agent first, or if they came up through the investment space first. Like a lot of times real estate investors, the way I came up through watching either YouTube or going to local networking events or REI clubs. And then when I went to the REI clubs, I just remember all the time that other investors saying, having a license creates more liability for you, or having a license is going to create, extra hurdles for you to have to get through. And I always had that stick with me because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just starting out in the industry. And so I never had a reason to actually get my license. And then throughout the years along the way, I'd be generating leads. And I get someone to call me and it's like, I want $500,000 for my $500,000 house. Can you sell it? And I'd have to try to explain to the homeowner, I'm not an agent, I'm an investor. So I was causing a problem there. But then what I'd have to do is go get a license. And then I'm super busy at that moment. And I think I'd do it. And then all of a sudden time picked up and I just moved down the road and never get it, right? Very common for investors on that side. And then on the other side, agents come in, usually they come up in the agent space because a friend or family member was an agent and they went that route. And a lot of times they don't go the investment route because they think that somehow it's too risky as far as closing on properties. They don't have the financing sources, or there's limitations to enter there, that industry, that they may or may not know how many creative ways they can do deals. So there's kind of like, I say that agents are like cats, investors are like dogs. Some do both, like that old cartoon cat dog. I don't know if you guys remember that a long time ago, but you should do both, right? And here's the reason why you should do both. So I'm gonna give you guys a number of reasons why I decided to get my license later. And I have about 8 or 9 that I'm gonna go through with you guys that all have led to building a massive income that I think you guys could all do as well. And the first one was having access to accurate data. Obviously, agents have the MLS, investors don't. Now, a lot of investors have these comping systems or these third-party vertical systems or whatever. These other companies are pulling information from areas that the MLS pulls data from. But the problem is with these third-party services is they never have the full data that you actually need. A lot of times they're not going to have the tax records. A lot of times they're not going to have mortgage records. They're not going to have the full data that the actual MLS system will have. So number one is you're going to actually have the real MLS system and you're not pirating it from a friend or someone else that's going to put their license at risk and having your, it's just done in the right way. And so also you don't put yourself up at the risk yourself, which happens to investors. I've seen it all the time. People contact me all the time. Well, I was basically pirating MLS access from a friend's account, and then they let their license go inactive, and now I don't have MLS access and I don't know what to do, or something like that. So you're guarding yourself for a potential situation where you're running a lifetime business. Let's say you're a wholesaler or house flipper, and you're doing a lot of leads every single month, and all of a sudden who you're getting it from goes away. So it's just the ethical way and the safest protective way for you to get the right data. That's also going to be more data than those third-party companies. So if you're an investor right now and you are using something that's like a third-party system, you're not getting the full data that you need. Okay. Second one is you can list your own houses, obviously, right? So like as an investor, I was having to pay someone before to list my own properties. So when I was getting my license, now if I want to do it myself, I can avoid that commission. Even if I'm listing with like a flat fee service, I can still save money by doing my own transactions. Plus I have more control of my own transactions if I want to do so. So I can choose timing of these things. I can make quicker decisions, and I'm saving all the commission money that'd be given to someone else. So that's a second reason I got my license. The third one was to monetize these retail leads that were coming in. So I kind of mentioned that before. I specifically remember this lady called me from like Arkansas, and she just could not understand the difference between a real estate investor and a real estate agent. And she just was like, well, why can't you just sell my house? I was like, I can buy it. And after that time, I was just like, I need to get my license. I still didn't get it. But one of the biggest reasons I did, I'll give you all the reasons why at the end, but having the ability to have a license to monetize these leads that come in that have no equity in them was a big was part of my decision-making process. So when you're running an investment business, what are we trying to do? We're trying to get deals at a discount. So we're always looking at equity positions and price point positions because they determine what exit strategy we use when the lead comes in the office. So let's say price points, we'll separate it by $250,000 and under and $250,000 and up. And the reason why for an investor mindset is because that's usually separating the cash flow market from the flipping market. Because usually once you get above like 250K in most parts of the country and around the world, it's harder to make these properties cash flow. And then if you look at equity positions, what do we need to do most real estate deals? If we're going to wholesale, we're going to flip houses, we're going to buy rentals, we need equity positions. So what would happen is, let's say a high equity transaction would come in. I mean, a high price point transaction like a $500,000, $700,000 lead, but there's no equity in it. The only thing you can do is create a financing lease option or maybe wrapping it. I mean, probably the numbers won't even work there. So I had to realize I needed to figure out a way to not trash these leads because I was throwing millions of dollars away. So you're going to be able to capitalize on all the retail transactions and turn those into commissions. Now, the fourth one is you get a back end the deal that you're buying in for your investment business. So for example, like I go buy a house, I go meet the family, I purchase the property as a rental property, and that homeowner would either move to an upgrade or to a downsizing property in that same local market. So if they're staying geographically local, you buy their house to either flip it or to rent it, whatever you're gonna do with it. If they're moving, say in Dallas, somewhere still in Dallas, but they're going from 2,000 square foot to 4,000 square foot house, and you don't have a license, you're missing that commission. If they're going from a 4,000 square foot house down to a 2,000 square foot house because they're empty nesters or whatever it is, you're missing that back end commission. And then also, if they're not even staying geographically local, let's say they're moving to a different market, even different country, you're missing the back end referral fee because you're not able to do that as well. So there is a lot of money I was leaving on the table by when I was actually buying the property, not being able to have an option for them on the second part of their journey on where they were going to their next property, if that makes sense. And this was a big profit center that I was missing out on. And being at EXP now makes that super easy for us because the way that we can do referrals and everything's connected, and it makes the referral business super, super easy for us. Leveraging ourselves outside of myself. So I'm a big believer in duplication and leverage. And what was happening for me was I was getting limited on efforts that I was able to do things in my own business. And I'd always thought about building a real estate team at some point. And I was always watching like $1 Million Listing and that type of stuff, even though I wasn't an agent, I'm still in real estate. And I liked the idea of leveraging a team. And then what happened was I started to do deals on a wider footprint, meaning in different countries or different states, you could have agents out there, you could have across your local market. So in Dallas, and some of you might be in big metro areas, if you break it down into like a 4x4 grid, you've got Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, it could be an hour and 30 minutes to drive from one side to the other metroplex. I didn't have the bandwidth to keep doing this, and to pay employees to do this is too expensive. So I was like, well, what if I got a license and built a team, right? So having the leverage of a team where you can help generate leads, you can help generate business, but they can help you work that business and leverage your time across the bigger footprint. You can be the center of the business, driving the business, but now build a team and leverage through duplication, a secondary income stream, and now work more deals that you would have to pass up on in the past. Because what was happening was we were missing deals because I couldn't get to them fast enough. So by building a team and bringing people in that I could just simply say, hey, John, can you make it out to Round Rock? Or hey, John, can you go over here? And Susan, can you go check out this lead real quick? We were missing less deals, if that makes sense, because we had more people, more boots on the ground, more leverage for duplication. We could be at more places at one time. So I like the idea of building a team to leverage myself outside myself. And then on the buy side too. So the next thing is, as the market turns, guys, this hasn't been very common here recently, but it's going to start to become more common as we kind of move into this recession and people start to, put properties up, and you're going to see more opportunities to buy investment properties off of public resources again, the MLS, auction sites, HUD home stores, and things like this. During the past 8 or 9, 10 years, very difficult to buy a house at a discount off the MLS, right? But when the market turns and money comes out of the marketplace, because not everybody's putting money behind the hard money lenders and institutions, there's going to be a lot more, potential properties on the MLS and public sites that now when I go make an offer on the MLS and it's a listed property, I'm saving commission, or we can negotiate commissions with the seller, and also we can play with things a little bit easier, if that makes sense. So saving more, buying. Now, multiple streams of income. This is a big one. So when markets are beneficial for the investment side of the world, sometimes they're not so much for the retail side of the world, and vice versa. So by having multiple ways of creating income in your business, and you're doing both sides of business, retail up here and discount market down here, you're protecting yourself against external market share pressures, right? So think about, what we're dealing with right now with the recession and the pandemic. By having the ability to work the retail market and the discount market, multiple streams of income is what you want to look at as. They're different income streams, even though they're within the same industry, they're different ways of creating income. And the more income streams you have, the higher insurance policy you have on your business and your career. So let's say you're only doing retail deals, and all of a sudden the retail market completely crashes out in your specific market, but all of a sudden the investment market picks up. Well, guess what? If you don't have skill sets in both, you're going to be kind of behind the eight ball, right? Now, vice versa, if you're only able to take down properties as an investor and the retail market picks up, guess where you're at right now? So by having a license and having skill sets on the investment side of things, it doesn't really matter what external pressure is happening, what type of marketplace you're in. Just like a stock market, if you're a great trader, you play options, market's going up, market's going down, you're going to play options on the way up and down. So it gives you that multiple streams of income insurance policy that you can capitalize on whatever external demands or pressures are coming into your marketplace, moving things around and changing, strategies and patterns really quick lifetime. Let's see. Now there's the final reason I guess I got my license is there's new models popping out. So I've been a big believer of residual income my whole life. And that's the main reason I got into real estate investing was I made a lot of money in an active income business model early on in my career, and it disappeared on me. And I said, this is never going to be what I want to do long-term again. I want to build residual income. And so I saw investing as the fastest way to do this. I started building rental portfolio, owner finance notes, lending money and things like this. Well, now because of technology and because of companies like the one that we work at here at the EXP and other companies popping up globally, what does this do? It gives us the ability to create wealth as agents and residual income as agents. So I liked the idea when I saw EXP. This was the final, what pushed me over the edge was I saw that they had a 3 income stream brokerage, an equity model, and a cash flow model, a residual income model. And I said, I'm building these big social media followings. I'm investing all this money and time into building my social media. And there's people on my account or follow me in all these different states, right? And I couldn't do that locally with a normal brokerage, but I like the idea of building a team globally and building a residual income stream with a tech-based brokerage. So as technology changes and metaverses pop up, overhead prices and overhead expenses to run businesses are reducing for for these types of models, meaning they can do more and give more as far as income possibilities to the people within those companies. So that was a big reason I got my license, was to join EXP Realty, because of the revenue share model that allowed me to build residual income alongside my investment business, and then also to build ownership in the company as the company grew. So I like the idea of it being cloud-based, being global, and also being able to build residual income with my license, which traditionally has been very difficult to do. So investors, a lot of them go to the investment side of the game because they want residual income. Now, with the new brokerages like EXP popping up, you can build residual income substantially faster. So in literally like 1 year or less, I replaced a residual income with the revenue share model at EXP that took me almost 7 years to build as an investor. So just to give you an idea of how powerful it is because of leverage to duplication and technology. And so those are all probably reasons that I saw as an investor, finally what kind of pushed me over the edge. And it was a great decision for me to get my license. It's allowed us to build a substantial income in multiple ways. So if you guys are currently thinking about it, I would definitely do it. And the last thing I would say is, it's not like what you're thinking. Once I got my license, I realized I'd probably put too much emphasis on the extra disclosures, extra liabilities, and things like this that a lot of investor world makes you think, because I didn't understand that you have E&O insurance and that you're regulated. In fact, my stance on this has changed. It's actually more risky as an investor than it is as an agent, when I used to think it was much more risky as an agent than it is as an investor, because if you mess up as an investor, they're suing you directly. Whereas if you made a small mistake as an agent, you have E&O insurance and you're protected by brokers, right? So I changed my tune on that. And that was one of the biggest reasons I think investors kind of stand off from getting their license. Also, that they think that having to disclose the basic disclosures, like, hey, I need to go tell a homeowner I'm a licensed agent. Actually, because believe it or not, guys, like a lot of investors, because I try them all the time, think that that's going to be a hurdle and make it more difficult for them. It's the opposite. It makes it easier for them, because when you go to a homeowner and you say, I'm licensed, what are you doing for someone who's already in a moment where they're fearful that they're going to be taken advantage of and they're going to make a mistake with a big transaction in their life? Oh, a licensed individual makes me feel more comfortable. It means they're regulated. It means they're credible. It means that they're less likely to be some shady person, right? That they had to actually, and if something happens, I have something, an insurance policy on my side to go after them differently, right? And then also when you're making offers, you have the ability to not one offer someone, meaning, hey, take my cash offer, or that's it. That's all I can do. Now you can say, hey, I can come and help you. I can buy the property from you, or I can actually help you list the property, whichever makes sense. I'm going to go through all the options with you, and I want to do what you want to do, but let me show you all the options that you have here. And now you're giving them a choice: list it or sell it to you at a discount, instead of just coming in with one or the other, which is kind of putting a gun to the head and limiting yourself as far as an option that they go with. So the way that people make decisions is, if you give them a yes or no decision, they're going to choose yes or no. So like, hey, I'm going to pay $100,000. I'll give you $100,000. She may counter, but you're pretty much saying yes or no off a cash offer. When you give multiple offers or give them multiple situations, like, hey, we can list your house, we could buy the house cash, or we can do something creative with an owner financing type of offer with you. Now you're giving them multiple options. Instead of them saying yes or no, what they say is, how do I choose which option makes sense for me? So when you give multiple offers and multiple options for people, they're less likely to reject you completely, but more likely to move towards one that they see as the best option of all of those, if that makes sense. And most of the time when you're making your offers, they're all very similar in the offer that you're making, if that makes sense. So it doesn't really matter which one they choose or how they go about it, but you're increasing the conversion rate for yourself when you have more opportunities and options for someone to meet their individual situation. Okay, that's all I got. I don't know if you guys have time for me to answer questions or anything, but those are all reasons to keep in mind about why you should do both sides of the business.
When you first got your license as an investor, because you were an investor already, to now that you've been here and this model has really 10x your business, how has your perspective changed? And to me, it appears the value of time too, right? It's kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because, I built a big name in the investment world, teaching people how to build rental portfolios and things like that. And like, now people ask me all the time, even agents in our team, they're like trying to find the first rental. And I'm like, why don't you want to build the revenue share organization? Because I moved my mentality to where I put my time towards building the revenue share model at EXP based off the scalability of it. So to build residual income with my rental portfolio, to double it and quadruple it and to compound it over, it's the same effort. It's a linear growth model, meaning if I buy another rental property, I have to do my marketing, I have to talk to the seller, I have to get it under contract, I have to finance it, I have to close on it, I have to stabilize it, I have to get it rented, and then I'm probably going to go back and refinance out, or whatever I'm going to do, right? And if I want to double my cash flow, I have to find that same process, find another deal, and do it over again, the entire process, right? Whereas the revenue share model XP is, because it's built how Kelly Wins grew through a 7-tier model, you have the leverage of duplication, right? And also that other agents can work with you to grow the model. So I can go talk to someone like Kyle. If Kyle comes in, a capping agent, if you sponsor an EXP or revenue share model, the cash flow income stream is equivalent to almost like what a rental property would create. So I can trade my time to go work with a partner and a friend that can help in business and work together, which is more fun than working by myself, which is what I did as an investor. So now I'm working with friends and partners, and but the cash flow is the same, but the leverage is different because now Kyle has the opportunity to go out there and build his team as well. So that's like a house going out and buying houses for you. That doesn't happen in the investment space. So it can grow exponential. So for example, at EXP, I brought in 40 people. I sponsored 40 partners my first year. And through our model, the leverage of duplication turned into over 151. That's like buying 40 houses and having your portfolio grow into 150 houses, if that makes sense. So the leverage. And the next year we doubled to over 300. And next year we doubled to over 600. Next year we added 1,000 agents, went to 1,600, and we'll probably break 2,200 agents today, actually. So the leverage is different than by building a rental portfolio. So this month so far, we've added 60 plus agents net to our organization. So think about that. That's why I put my time in this over here, is because we're in a window of time where there's a big demand for a brokerage model like this around the world. And over the next 5-10 years, EXP is going to become the biggest company in the world, in my opinion, shared by most. And that's why I'm putting all my time into it. Now is the scalability, the income opportunity is larger, the risk avoidance is bigger because you don't need money. The time management on the backside is you don't need tenants, toilets, and termites. And this is a market share race that in 10 years, the opportunity may not be around like it is now, where houses will always be around. I can always spend my time buying houses. And so instead of buying houses at a discount where I'm renovating them and bringing the equity value up with a lot of time involvement, I'm avoiding my time involvement and doing bigger projects and buying houses that are almost rent ready and paying more than normally I would for them, but I'm avoiding my time element in it. So I don't have the expense of my time. So I'm overpaying for what most people think, but they're overpaying because they're putting their time into it. So I'm taking the money from this other income stream through the revenue share model, and I'm buying thinner deal properties over here, but without my time expense into it. It's kind of what I'm doing. So I put all my time into the revenue share model, not my rental portfolio for the most part.
And Connor, the part that is the crazy part about all of this is that it's global, right? That we're not restricted by. Do you want to kind of touch on that too, that opportunity that we have?
Yeah, I mean, like everything's going global, and the size of your market has a direct impact on the size of your business. And so previously, you're restricted for technology to a local market. Like let's say you're building a team in an area that's got 25,000 agents in your local city. You have 25,000 agents to grow to. When you partner with a company like EXP, you still have your same 25,000 agents local market share, but now you have almost 2 million agents in a global market share that overnight you can now partner with. You can partner with friends and family that live in different countries. You can partner with agents that live in different states. Like one of the ones we're bringing on is like ex-college roommate, they're best friends, and then they went different ways. And like 20 years later, they came back and crossed paths in life. So this type of stuff's happening where people are now uniting and building businesses around the world. I mean, think, for example, Kyle and Tharmela, we work together all the time. And you guys live in Canada, I live in Texas. And so businesses are done global for many different reasons now, because the technology is here for the first part, and that's eliminating brick and mortar. So businesses don't need a building to drive down to. Buildings were for central locations for people to go communicate and be able to, get trained and things like that we can now do through Zoom and the metaverse. So there's no need for a building that costs billions of dollars that people won't use when they can operate their virtual building and now have all those extra dollars going in the bank account. And the dollars going in the bank account don't go to asset. Now they go to the agents in our case, or the employees in some companies' models, investment in the families in the business. So more training, more tools, better income possibilities, health insurance options. So agents can now have more and be given more than they could have before, because the asset, the building, doesn't absorb all the overhead expenses. So the money that used to go in the building goes into the human resources, or the agents in our case at EXP, or employees. So technology is allowing for these global businesses to scale faster, have bigger market share possibilities, which gives bigger growth opportunities for us in our individual careers, lower risk for the company, and the lower risk because the dollars aren't tied to specific things that they're normally tied to, means way more opportunities for someone like us or you guys, as far as tools, trainings, resources, and extra benefits that brokerages normally couldn't even get close to affording to give out. When I was an investor, I mean, it was great to make money. I mean, I still am an investor. Like, you should always do both, right? Both sides of business, because they play off each other. But I was like, if I flipped another house, nobody saw how much money hit my bank account. If I bought another rental, it just went into my portfolio. It's kind of a selfish business, right? Where as a team leader now, and as I get to help people, I can take years of experiences, all the failures and hard nights that I went through, and I can hopefully share these experiences with my partners that are coming in and hopefully help them avoid these things. And also I can take my skill sets and help pull people across the finish line, where I can hop in and, get in calls and do things that maybe their skill sets aren't up to at that level, where I can help kind of them have success they couldn't have otherwise. So I get to see not only the money and opportunities and the financial freedom that a lot of my partners have that are now making 6, multiple 6, even going on to 7 figures a year, some of them, in residual income. I get to impact my friends and partners' lives and have an actual ability to do so, not like I did on YouTube, where I'm just training people and giving them information, but now I'm actually in the business on calls with them, kind of like what we're doing right here. And then also, once people start making money, think about how it can impact the community. Now, my goal is to help many people become successful in business, and along the way, teach them to be good people. And then when they now have this money, that they're going to do the same thing for others coming in. They're going to help teach them how to be successful in business and also give back once they get there. And that's how good's going to move through the world. And a whole bunch of evil that we're dealing with seems like all over the place right now, where is that people are honest, ethical, and do the right thing and show people they can be successful, and you don't have to cut corners, cheat, and scam people. And along the way in your mentorship process, you're training them to be the right person that's going to benefit the community. When they do become wealthy, they pay it forward. They say, this person or these set of people mentored me, and they turn around and they do the same thing. And that's how the right side of the world should be. Like the right things that people are doing, the right way to live life and the right way to be successful is going to get scattered out and multiplied and grow. So there's many benefits for this type of model. And also, just this, having a license and being an investor, because you couldn't do this if you were just an investor without a license, if that makes sense. So a lot of reasons, not just for your own personal business, but for your partner's businesses and just for the overall community. But just because you're going to be doing this, still keep buying your rental properties. Just if you start making money over here, I can show you how I do it. So like I hold some properties leveraged, some free and clear, some are notes, and some are through trust systems. And so these are things that like we're going to be doing more of with our group. Starting late, actually in October, we're going to be doing more of we're going to be doing some high-level investment coaching and training, stuff like this. So if you're interested in more of these types of topics, we're going to be doing these things with the team. So you can get with Tharmela and Kyle, and they'll give you more information on that.